Title: The words we live inside. Language is the first place we live. Before borders, before flags, before we know who we are. A child hears a voice, a tone, a rhythm, and in that rhythm, a world quietly takes shape. Because language is never just words. It's a map of what a culture notices and what it lets pass unseen. In some languages, there are dozens of words for snow. In others, none at all. Not because snow doesn't exist there, but because attention does. Language tells us what matters. Listen closely. Some cultures speak in stories, circling meaning like a fire at night. Others aim straight for the point, sharp and efficient, like an arrow. Neither is better. They are answers to different histories, different landscapes, different ways of surviving. Every language carries the fingerprints of the lives that shaped it. When a culture has lived close to the land, its words know the seasons. When a culture has endured conflict, its language learns caution. When a culture values community, its sentences bend toward we. When a culture celebrates independence, I stands tall. And without realizing it, we inherit these lenses. Language doesn't just describe reality, it frames it. The way we talk about time as something we spend, save, or waste changes how we live inside our days. The way we name emotions, or fail to name them, shapes what we're allowed to feel. Some cultures have words for emotions so specific they feel like secrets whispered across generations. A quiet joy, a shared longing, a sadness that arrives with beauty, not despite it. If your language doesn't name that feeling, you might still feel it. But it remains blurry, half-seen, harder to hold. That's the power of words. They sharpen experience or soften it, or sometimes erase it entirely. But language is not fixed. It moves. It absorbs new meanings, new rhythms, new truths, just as cultures do. When languages meet, something fragile happens. Sometimes they clash. Sometimes they blend. Sometimes one is silenced. And when a language disappears, it isn't just vocabulary that's lost. It's a way of seeing the world, a memory of how humans once understood themselves. Every lost language is a library burned without ceremony. Yet even in loss, language survives in accents, in borrowed words, in the way grandparents speak differently when they're tired or emotional. Culture hides inside pronunciation, inside jokes, inside the words we only use at home. You can hear culture in pauses, in what's said directly and what's implied, in whether silence feels awkward or sacred. To learn a new language is not just to memorize grammar, it's to borrow another culture's imagination for a while. Suddenly, you think differently, feel differently, even dream differently. You realize your own language was never neutral. It was teaching you how to be human all along. And maybe that's the quiet invitation language offers us: to listen more carefully, to speak more thoughtfully, to recognize that behind every accent is a history, behind every phrase, a worldview, behind every word, a culture trying to be understood. Because when we change how we speak, we change how we relate. And when we learn to hear the world through more than one language, we don't just become bilingual, we become bigger. Language is not just something we use, it is something we belong to. And sometimes, it is the bridge that reminds us we were never as separate as we thought.